want to make sure, can you hear me? Those of you, let's see. Yeah, I'm live. So let me just take a quick peek over on my LinkedIn page, see if I see me there. And we're going to do something a little bit different today, y'all. We got a little bit of a um, challenge that has arrived. My guest, Saye Kokeh, is not able to make it, so he's got a little medical matter that's going on. I'm waiting for a text any moment now to tell me how he's doing. So we're going to just send well wishes. Now, I know I'm on here live talking about Saye, so don't go run around telling everybody else. If you do know Saye, then send him a text and send him some good wishes. But don't go run around telling everybody else about this, even though I'm telling you all live. But send him some good wishes. He couldn't make it here today. So we're going to do something a little bit different. I couldn't not go on. So I'll cover a few things and we'll make this short. So again, Saye Kokeh, who is in a brand new job. I cannot wait to talk to him. He just got a new role. I think he's just finished up, I guess, his first 30 days with them. And he is now the senior VP of operations for JRK. And I can't wait to hear, because one of their properties is an ACE property. And so I can't wait to hear what's going on with him and talk about his new role and what's been happening there. And then also talk about what's happening at that property, one of my favorite properties out in where I grew up, out in Palm Springs. So again, send him some well wishes. And then, listen, that highlights something that doesn't really get talked about enough. And I know I'm guilty of this, of what I'm going to talk to you about. I work 15, 16-hour days. Here it is Saturday. And today, aside from doing the show, I've actually been working on my projects. I've been working up until now just to run down the street to go get my wife and I a little salad from our local place that we like before this show, and literally just finished that to hop on here. And so, listen, we all got to get the work has got to get done, and I'm not going to be the one to tell you that you shouldn't do that, because I know that I am guilty of it as well. And in this industry, in hospitality that we're talking about, 15-hour days, 16-hour days, people do that without blinking an eye, right? But we have to find the balance. And I know it is tough when we're talking about ownership expectations. We're talking about the corporate expectations. Like, just that alone right there is like 150 degrees, 180 degrees worth of temperature when it comes to ownership and corporate expectations. Then you got the guest experience that you're dealing with. Then you got your own team that you're trying to take care of as well, right? And that's tough. And you're doing all of that, but you got to make sure that you're taking time to take care of yourself too. And I want to give you a couple of pointers on that. So we'll talk about that. Because when we are exhausted, when we are running on all cylinders, we can't be our best. We can't be our best self. We can't be our best self for the teams that depend on us, as well as, forget about the job. Like, health is number one, right? And then in addition to what else is number one, it's your family. So those of you that have family, most of us do, you got to make sure that you were there and you were present for them as well. And research tells us, burnout is rapidly coming on more and more. And it is no surprise to me, I'm sure to many of you, right? Because there is more and more coming on that we are responsible for. And that is happening with us. It's also happening with the folks that we are leading, right? And you have that to contend with as well. So balancing all of those pressures and in your roles, it's tough. And When that happens, that cascades throughout the organization, and the same thing happens through your family too. That spreads through the teams. The communication gets shorter, patience disappears, and then that's how the culture ends up changing in your operations, and the culture changing in your communities and with your families too. So let that sink in. All right. And that's the reminder today that you cannot lead others well if you are completely depleted yourself. So let's make sure that you're taking time for yourself and doing that. So, okay, Vic, I hear you. That's great. But you said you struggle with that. Well, there are some things that I do so that I can make it through those days, because that's not gonna, just to keep it real, that's not gonna stop. I grew up that way. I will tell you about me. I've said this a few times on shows that I've been on, podcasts that I've been on, or teams that I'm leading. Is that, when I growing up, my dad was in the military, and growing up on a military installation as a kid, you had to be active. You had to be doing something. There was no, okay, go to school, come home and play. No, you were, if you weren't in school, then you were in some sort of activity. And if you weren't in some sort of activity, then you were doing something at home, which was your homework. And if you weren't doing that, then there was some other kind of project that you might have called chores, right? Anybody remember chores? And so growing up, that's what you were doing. Yes, there was certainly playtime on the weekends, after chores were done, after Cub Scouts, whatever that is, after T-ball, then there might be some playtime that was available. So I've just been wired that way. So I'm always going, and yeah, I drive my kids crazy sometimes. I drive my wife crazy sometimes, because we will go. It is very common for me to be on vacation and say, hey, when we're going to, this just happened. We went to Atlanta, and I was telling my wife before the trip, like, hey, maybe we could see my publisher while we're out there, so that we could maybe do 30 minutes to social time, have a cup of coffee or something, and talk about the next project, because I got more books that I'm writing. And hey, my aunt's there. We got to make sure we see my aunt. And then there's 5-6 people that I know that are in Atlanta. Let's make sure that we could do that, because y'all know I like to network, and maybe there's some opportunities there whenever we go. And again, that's how I'm wired, and so that is not going to change. But I made sure that we were doing the fun stuff too. While we were there, we went to the King Center when we were there in Atlanta. We made sure that we did that. You'll see some videos of us. We tried those Waymos, and we tried that. Did 4 or 5 rides there. We took time, saw the city, and then of course attended the event that we went to as well. So, in addition to that, I make sure that I do a few other things. So I'll share that with you. So you need to make sure, the first one I will tell you is you need to have that quiet time, that thinking time. So usually as leaders, as I described, right, every hour of our day belongs to someone else. And so what I want to make sure is that when that happens, you're not leading, you're reacting to whatever it is that folks need at the moment. So you need to block out your own time to think. And so on my calendar, if you go to my Calendly right now to block out, you will see that there are some times that are just not even available, certainly because of appointments that I may have. But there's a regular, right now I can tell you it's 1:00. My time is always blocked out for strategy. And then when I know that there are certain things going on, I'll block in additional time that, okay, I know I got a project I'm working on, so I'm going to block that time. So I know that's the time that I'm going to work on. Let's see. Let me see. Let me check my text real quick and see if this is, no, okay. No update yet. Make sure that you're delegating earlier. I use this often. Early on, I don't remember who it was said to me, make sure that you utilize your resources. And to me, that is delegating early. And so leaders often wait too long to empower people. But the fastest way to exhausting yourself is believing that you're the one that needs to solve the problem yourself. And I say this all the time to my folks. When you have in your hotel right now, depending on the size of the team you lead, you have, I know this formula. Right now, depending on the size of your department, you have probably 1 to 2 go-to people. Maybe in a large apartment, there might be 3 or 4, potentially in a very large department. But usually you got 1 or 2, 3 or 4 go-to people in your department. But what if you coached, mentored, and got your folks to the point that they could solve problems on their own, and you went from 1 to 2 go-to people where you had 6 or 7 go-to people in your department. It could be even, and again, in a small department, instead of just that 1, now you got 3 or 4 in a small department, or you got 6 or 7 in a larger department, go-to people. What does your day look like? What does your day-to-day look like? The day looks so much different. So think about that as an opportunity for you on how you coach up and get your folks ready to be able to do things on their own without always having to come to you. And also, you need to model this because your team watches how you work. And if you're sending emails at midnight, they think that that's maybe the expectation for them. Although there's, there's also a subset of folks that will see that and go, well, that ain't me. I ain't doing that. Right. But they also think that they also feel the pressure that maybe that's your expectation. So don't be sending emails out at midnight. Now, okay, Vic, but listen, I want to get this done because I just realized it's something and I want to make sure it happens, or I don't want to forget about it. Well, do the email if you have to, if you must, because you happen to be at midnight working, which you shouldn't be doing. But let's say that you are. I've been in bed. I've been in bed working on something, but time it. Don't send it out at midnight. You can go in there. I know it's on certainly on Google, and it's on the other one I used to use. What is the other big email platform that has a timer in there as well? You just hit a drop down and change it so that it goes out at 8 in the morning. Nobody needs to be getting emails at midnight, 1, 2 in the morning. That doesn't, if you think, okay, I want them to know I'm working, that's not working for you. Make sure that the product that you're putting out and the way you're taking care of your teams and that you are meeting your business goals, that speaks for itself. Not that you were working at midnight. Nobody's really thinking about that or concerned or giving you points for doing that. So don't do that, okay? And if you have to, because you are working on something at that time, and make sure it's timed so it goes out during regular business hours. 7 in the morning, I send stuff out that might go from 7 on that I will have something sent out. So going back up to the top, make sure that you're protecting your thinking time. You're blocking out blocks of time for you to do strategy. That way you are that much more strategic instead of just going from tactical and doing, putting out one fire to the other. And when you're much more strategic, you're going to be that much more successful. Delegate. Make sure that before you do that, though, before you're delegating, that you've coached them up and that they can handle those things. All right. And then model that. Make sure you're not the one that's always running around with your head cut off. Make sure you are the one that's doing step 1 and 2, and that you are modeling that so that your team is operating the same way instead of the whole team being in a frenzy. So how does that sound? If I'm all wet and you're listening, I know it's a Saturday, but if you're listening, you got thoughts about that, you think I'm all wet, then tell me I'm all wet. Let's talk about it. Or if you're in agreement with that, then I want to see that. And or if you have any other strategies that you use, I want to hear about that as well. And I'll hop over here and see if there are any comments in here. And let me look over on LinkedIn real quick, because I see that on my platform, they don't always show up. So I do see one. Let's see. Russell, what is going on, Russell? Thank you for hopping on. And so, and it looks like I think you're on YouTube. So maybe YouTube comments are coming through here. So if you're still on with me, Russ, let me know if you were watching from YouTube or where you're watching from, so I know where these comments are coming in from. That way I don't have to keep switching tabs to make sure I'm catching any comments. Let's see. What else do I want to talk? I want to talk about the hot topic, which I think this is hilarious. Again, I did this literally. I'm standing in line ordering the salads for my wife and I, Kenya, and I'm talking to my assistant Chad and said, "Give me a hot topic. What is a hot topic that I could talk about for a few minutes before I get off the call?" And Chad says, "Oh, super manager. That's what we should talk about. Super manager." There's another leadership trend happening right now that's making this even harder. Experts are starting to talk about something called the super manager era. And I think this is hilarious because, first of all, my assistant Chad, Chad and I would be tussling all the time, disagreeing all of the time. And when I say Chad, I'm talking about Chat GPT, okay? And super manager era now, let me tell you, Chad, that has been going on for years. That isn't a hot topic. That isn't something that just started happening right now. That has been going on. We have been doing more with less in the hotel business. When I first got in, first time leading, we didn't see that. And there was a lot of layers, sure. And without giving away my age all the way, it was in the, early 90s. And, but I'd say, okay, now we're in the 2000s. And I can think of, I was at the JW in Palm Desert, California, 888 rooms. And sure, we probably had, I'm guessing here, but I'm going to say we had well over 150 managers in 2000. So if anybody's listening in and remembers, drop that number in there and let me know if I'm right. But then you go 3 years in, we had less than that. And it certainly, you go another 4 years, that's 2008, y'all. You remember what was going on in 2008, and they were dropping 30 and 40 managers a clip jobs were being eliminated at that property and others, in the valley. That was going on. The property I was at Mission Hills, and talk about leadership. The GM that we had, Kim Pilgrim, who was leading that hotel at the time, we're talking about 2008, leading up to that, we were already slowing down. We were already doing what some hotels were doing, which was not replacing leadership positions, but we were being even more strategic. We were way ahead of everybody else, because when the properties were sending out 30 and 40 people a time, we weren't eliminating any positions. We were doing some other cost-saving measures. We started charging in the cafeteria, which is a whole nother conversation we could have. But when it finally got to the point where we still needed to find money, we eliminated positions. And I will say the word, but I hate always saying this, and I do say this, is that we only eliminated, and I hate saying that, but it was only 8 positions that we eliminated when there was 40 and 50 going out at other hotels. And we were, when you combine the hotel and the villas next door, we were about the same size as the JW. And so that's a big accomplishment in one terms. Any eliminations are just terrible. It was a part of the role that I hated the most. But we were ahead of that. My point with all of this, though, is again, that's in 2008. How many years ago was that? And every year since then, it's fewer and fewer. You all know this. You all have been seeing it. We know that we are being asked to manage more people, more complexity, and more responsibilities more than ever before. And now, with the advent of AI, yes, that is taking some of the low-hanging fruit tasks. And so there are going to be some more. There's going to be some more opportunities where there will be less, more opportunity where they will eliminate even more. Not necessarily your role, if you're doing the things that you should be doing to make sure that that's the case. That's a whole nother conversation that we can get into. But you need to make sure that you are leading, right? And in addition to that, you are solving problems, and that you are filling, when there are staffing gaps, you are being strategic on how you do that. And maybe you are using AI to be able to help you with that. And that all of these things help you stay ahead of what is occurring with this new revolution with AI, and that you are a problem solver, and that you are an empathetic leader, that you're an inclusive leader, and you're doing those things. Because AI, Chad is not going to be able to do those things for you. Okay. So keep that in mind, because it is still more and more coming our way with less and less resources. But I think AI is something not to be afraid of, not to run away from. You need to be able to embrace that and use it to the best of your abilities. Be very knowledgeable about all the various aspects of AI so that you are ahead of the curve. Because AI is not going to take your job, but the person that has embraced AI and knows how to properly leverage it might be the one that's going to take your job. All right. So it's not being a tougher leader, right? Or just grinning and bearing and taking on more and more and more. That's not going to be it. You're going to burn out and be on the sidelines. So make sure that you're embracing AI and that you are using it, and that you are a smarter leader, and you're building good systems around that. And particularly to the things that we've been talking about before: better delegation, better support structures, and leaders who know when to take a step back and rest. You got to be able to do that. So let me see. Okay, Russell says he's on YouTube, so I know I got those coming in from YouTube. And then, is anybody on LinkedIn? Because I'm over on LinkedIn, and I don't see. Let me see if I see. Do I see myself on? My computer's moving slow, so I don't know. I hope you all can hear me, and I hope I'm on YouTube. And I'm trying to see. I don't even see me on Facebook, but I know I heard from someone who said they saw me on Facebook yesterday, and I think I saw a comment. Matter of fact, Alfredo made a comment. No, Alfredo made a comment from LinkedIn. Okay, so I see that I'm live there as well. So okay, all systems are go. Let me just take a couple more minutes, and then I'm gonna let you all go. I'm gonna close with this, talking about leadership in hospitality. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, yes, I have only worked on the periphery with a couple of other industries, but hospitality, I know hospitality in and out, and that is one of the most demanding roles there are, is doing leadership in hospitality. I also know that it's one of the most meaningful. It certainly is for me. But the best leaders understand something that's, I think, is pretty important. You cannot pour into your teams if your own cup is empty, right? So today's reminder is pretty simple. Take care of yourself. Not just for you, but for the people who rely on you and your leadership every day. Now, again, that's not just your teams at work. That's for your family as well. And your whoever your partner is, right? They're counting on you. All right. So again, Saye, wishing you a quick recovery, brother. Hope you're doing well. And then we'll definitely get you back on the show at some point. And those of you out there got questions, you can hit me up afterwards. And hey, it's a weekend, y'all. So go out there and have a great rest of the day. I'm going to take one more look at our comments, see if I have anything else. Okay, no comments there. I'm going to put this there just so I can see what that looks like. And then I'm going to send this out. I'm going to send this all out. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day. Take care.